Ozzi, I know that you've sort of been on the streams before, but let me ask you the question. Have you ever played Spec, or have you ever seen me play Spec, Collect, Forget, or have you ever played the game F, Marry, Kill?
I've seen some of the streams that you've done, yes.
Okay, well, to those who maybe are discovering this VOD or this video or have never played it before, Spec, Collect, Forget is basically my version of F, Marry, Kill. That game that you play in high school where you'd name 3 people, Rihanna, Beyonce, and Lady Gaga, and you'd have to pick which one you want to marry. You have to pick which one you want to kill. In this version, in the comic book version, we're going to be doing Spec, Collect, Forget. And this one, in our version, is going to be here, these 3 words, which is Spec, which kind of infers like you're going to take one of these books and you're going to kind of wait for that right moment. You think this book's going to get hot. Maybe a trailer is coming out, maybe a movie's coming out, and you're going to sell this and cash in on this at the right opportunity. Collect, you're going to marry this book. You're putting it in the PC, and you're going to, live with it forever because it's something that you cherish. And Forget, you're going to burn it and send it to Mephisto's realm, as I always like to say. So, do those rules kind of make sense, Ozzi, as far as how the game is played?
100%. 100%.
Okay, great.
I just don't want anybody in the chat to hate me for any of my decisions. That's
the rage will flow.
there is no hate in this game, but there may be judgment. And again, speaking of chat, again, we're going to need to have audience participation here. We're going to have Ozzi do his picks, and then after he does his picks, I'm going to need the people in the chat to either give me a 1 if you agree with Ozzi's picks here, or a 2 if you disagree. There's no right answers, but it's just kind of nice to get a little sense of how the people are feeling with your picks. Okay. So everybody in the chat, let us help us here in this process. But with that said, let us get into the first round here. And of course, in the first round, we got to start it off easy. We got to ease our way into this. So I picked out a couple little minor Spec-ish books, some 90s stuff, some 90s, 80s teens, Copper Age Spec-ish books here, right? These are maybe teens that are going to show up one day in the MCU. The first one here is New Mutants 100. Of course, that's the first appearance of X-Force. I guess they made their appearance in the MCU if you want to get technical with it, because now Deadpool exists in the MCU, but maybe they're going to make a new appearance sometime in the future in Deadpool 3. We got West Coast Avengers #1. That's the limited series. That's the first West Coast Avengers title, team led by Hawkeye. And then we got X Factor #1. That's the Louis Simonson book, or Louis Simonson run that came out, I think, in '86, and is the original X-Men team, but now branded as X Factor. So Spec, Collect, Forget here, Ozzi. How are you feeling about this one? What are you thinking here?
I kind of feel that they will be creating. I don't think they're going to be calling it the West Coast Avengers, but I feel that they're going to be creating some sort of team like that, a gathering. So for sure, I'm going to spec on the West Coast Avengers one for sure.
Okay, specking on West Coast Avengers.
Yeah. And
Drew with the eyebrow lift.
Oh no! Already, I just started.
I'm withholding commentary.
Okay. And just because of sheer nostalgia factor, I'm going with X Factor for Collect.
Okay.
And I have to get rid of New Mutants 100.
New Mutants 100, burning that book. Now, Drew, I know you to be a huge Rob Liefeld fan. So how are you feeling about those picks? And everyone here in the chat, give us a 1 if you agree with Ozzi's approach here. Give us a 2 if you disagree. Drew, what was your thought process as Ozzi was talking about his?
My main opinion on these 3 would be to save your money and go buy a cheeseburger.
That's not how the game works. You gotta pick one of the books here.
Right. No, I mean I think he has some good reasoning there. I don't know. It's tough to really find a lot of spec value in any of them. I think West Coast Avengers is probably the harder to find out of all of them. I would guesstimate probably the lower print run, so I think that was a pretty good guess. And yeah, I mean, anytime you can trash a Liefeld book, I feel like that's the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just going back through the chat here, we got Jason with the 1, Dennis with the 1, Zach with the 2, Actual Dracula with the 1, Jerry with the 1, Claudia with the 1, and Kenny with the 1, Noah with the 1, Tom with the 1, Miguel with the 1. So a lot of ones here, only 1, 2. Excuse me, Ozzy. The people are feeling your picks on this one.
Okay, all right.
Isn't there a white variant to that 100?
There is. There actually. I think that's like one of the second prints or third prints. And that one might actually be even more expensive. I'm not sure what the price is.
Yeah, if I had to pick one, that'd be the one I'd go with out of the regular, that one.
All right. Well, going on here to slide number 2, Ozzy, Spec Collect Forget. We got some really hot books in the market. Maybe the hottest books right now in the market. And incidentally, it's funny because all these books kind of selling right around the same price point. So kind of interesting to think about that. Spec Collect Forget here. We have Mystica Arcana Magic #1. This is like kind of the Magic. I guess you maybe want to call it her solo series or limited series, but it features the first appearance of this god known as Ammit, who made an appearance in the Moon Knight show. No spoilers in this, but it basically has their appearance in the Moon Knight show. You got New Avengers #40. This is the first appearance of Ferengi, who is the Skrull Queen. Now, there's been rumors and leaks and maybe confirmations that Emilia Clarke is going to be playing Ferengi when we get Secret Invasion later on. And then you got Marvel Point One #1. First appearance of Sam Alexander Nova was recently in a Deadline article confirmed that Nova is in fact being developed. No news if that's Nova Richard Rider or Nova Sam Alexander, but could be either one of them. So Spec Collect Forget, how are you feeling on this one, Ozzy, here? And everyone in the chat, let us know your picks as well, because I would like to see them.
Right off the bat, I'm going to go Spec, New Avengers 40. It's just, I think that's just a quick turnaround on that book. I don't know how long she's going to be around for, but yeah, I'm not really interested in that book, but I know that if you do get it, I would probably sell it pretty quick. But that Marvel Point One, I am a big Nova fan. For sure, I would hang on to that one. Because Nova's going to be around for a while. I don't know which version we're going to get, but regardless, both will see new heights, I think. So I guess in making those choices, you know where to put that little flaming basketball.
Absolutely. No love for Moon Knight right here. But Spec Collect
Drew's shaking his head. He's okay, good. But
no. We're collecting Marvel Point One. We are specking on New Avengers 40, and we are burning that Mystic Arcana Magic #1.
Okay.
Chat, you know what to do. Drop us a 1 if you agree with his picks, 2 if you disagree. Drew, what is your thoughts on these 3 books here?
Yeah, no, I think he nailed it. I've been buying New Avengers 40 for years, so I have been specking on that book. So 100% agree with that. Good logic with the Point One, regardless if we start with Richard Rider or we get to the new Nova. I think with the tea leaves indicating we're getting the younger versions of so many of these characters, it's inevitable they'll show up. And honestly, the god, just kind of the spooky bad in a Disney Plus show who has like an avatar that's actually the main bad guy. I don't think it's got staying power.
Yeah, definitely feels like that book has the least brightest future, even if it is a cool character in the movie.
Yeah, flavor of the week, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, check in here with the chat here. We got Jerry with the 1, Jason with the 1, Des with the 1, Miguel with the 1. We see 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I almost don't even need to click on everything. So, Ozzy, you are on fire right now. Everybody is agreeing with your picks, and maybe it's been too easy. I don't know. So hopefully, in round number 3 here, it gets a little bit spicier, a little bit trickier. And this one, we have some Silver Age villains. Maybe you want to call one of them not a villain, but we got Spec Collect Forget. We got Avengers #62. First appearance of M'Baku. Of course, M'Baku, Black Panther universe, is in the MCU. I guess now he's kind of a hero, although I don't know how they want to move him forward. He's always been a villain. You got Tales to Astonish #90. First appearance of Abomination. Apparently, he's gonna really have a big role in the She-Hulk show coming up, but that's a book that's maybe a fool me once, fool me twice book. I don't know. And then you got X-Men #60, first appearance of Sauron and the Savage Land. Is that the first appearance of Sabbath? Maybe I just made that up. I don't know.
It is the first appearance of Sauron.
Okay, well, the first appearance of Sauron for sure. Great Neil Adams cover. Spec Collect Forget. How are you feeling on this one? A lot of Silver Age, kind of low tier characters, but interesting ones for sure. And chat, let us know as well.
As soon as I saw that X-Men 60, I'm like that. I'm a big Khazar fan, so please put the ring on that one. I know it's not the prettiest cover, but yeah, as soon as I saw that, I knew where to put that ring.
Neil Adams cover.
Yeah. Now these two here are a little bit difficult. I kind of think M'Baku's going to have a little bit more legs in terms of moving forward. Abomination, I don't know. It just seems like I don't know. I've never been a big fan of that. I don't even know how it's going to fit moving forward. Maybe, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to probably go,
for sure.
I'm probably going to go Spec on M'Baku.
Okay.
And then we're going to burn Tales to Astonish. Even though I'm a big fan of Tales to Astonish books, but yeah.
All right, we'll check in with the chat here. Drop us a 1 if you agree with Ozzy's picks here. 2 if you disagree.
Yeah,
Drew, how are you feeling on this one? I think that the tide might have turned, but I wonder where you stand on this.
I agree. The Abomination just isn't a very likable character. I think when you get right down to it, I think M'Baku can be a lot more appealing if they do him right. In the MCU, and I mean, I put out a video a few weeks saying that X-Men 60 is a book you should buy this year, so I can't hate on that. So no, I like it. I like it. The chat doesn't seem to be so favorable, but
I don't
like I said, the pitchforks and torches do come out.
Yeah, there's no wrong answers, but people they got opinions. So we see a 2, we got a 2 with Brian here, but then a flurry of 1s, 1 with Uncanny, Dennis with the 1, Peter with the 1, Jerry with the 1, Zach with the 1, Vancouver Comic Journey, what's going on, man, with the 1, Nowhere with the 2,
Thanks,
Brian
Chris.
with the 2, Serge with the 2, Depot with the 1, Actual Dracula with the 1. So not quite as clear maybe that time around, but I still think more 1s kind of coming in late. I think it really does come down to that. Maybe people feel like Abomination has legs. I don't know. I mean, I think when people disagree, to me, it tends to be the burn book.
I think he just suffers from the first appearance, no cover thing. Like if the cover to 91 was the cover to 90, that book would be a lot stronger.
You're so right, because on the 91 cover is actually, in my opinion, is an awesome cover.
Silver Age Marvel Red is like the second greatest color behind Silver Age Marvel Yellow
and blue.
Yeah, the bluish purple is really good too. Yeah.
Absolutely. There are no answers. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I guess. All right, moving on now to slide number 4 here. We got to switch it up. We've had some Marvel. I always like to show a little bit of love to DC. Now, I know, Ozzy, don't worry. I know you mentioned you're not as big on the DC, but we always got to do one DC slide here. And I think you're still going to maybe know these books. At least I think you will. And, maybe Drew can be your lifeline in case, you don't know that. But we got 3 books here, all kind of in that $700 range. But first up, we got Batman number 635. That is the first time that Jason Todd becomes Red Hood. We got Super Friends number 7, first appearance of the Wonder Twins, kind of a hot spec because I think that they had announced that there's going to be a Wonder Twins movie now. And we got Tale of Teen Titans number 44. Origin of Deathstroke, but really is when Dick Grayson takes up the mantle of Nightwing. That's kind of why people really like that one. So I don't know how you feel about these books, Ozzy, if you got a DC, feeling or opinions, but how are you feeling about this one? Spec Collect Forget, chat, let us know as well.
I'm a big Perez fan, so right off the bat, it's going to be, I'm collecting the Teen Titans. Cover's great. I have one at CGC right now getting graded.
Nice.
Regardless of the spec of the book, I just love that book. Again, I'm a big fan of his art, so that's why I would collect that. Yes, I'm old. I grew up with Super Friends, but it was it was kind of terrible. So I'm gonna really have to let that one burn. Unfortunately, I don't even know. Yeah, it's just I think it's just goofy. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But spec on the Batman 635.
Okay.
Sure. Red Hood. I know you're a fan of Red Hood. I just don't know how that's going to be moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, there's been iterations in the animated world and stuff. You know, who knows? Maybe we'll see a live action thing. I think actually maybe there is going to be a.
Is there?
I don't watch Titans, but you know, chat can let us know. But you know, interesting picks there. Chat, you know, drop us a 1 here if you agree with Ozzy's picks, 2 if you disagree. Drew, what was your thought on this one? I know you know a little bit more about DC probably than I do, but like I know you're also more a Marvel guy. Did you have opinions on these ones?
Yeah. I like the pick to marry Teen Titans 44. I mean, that's one of the greatest runs in the history of comics. That Titans run is just fantastic from beginning to end. And as I was looking at these, it was kind of tough because in reality, the way I look at Batman and Titans, they both are kind of already baked in. Like they've kind of come from a point where they were both selling for $75 in average condition to where they're now, you know, they're up. I think they're both moving around $150, $200 regularly now. So I feel like it's kind of already past the Spec point for them. So I probably would have gone Spec on the twins just because they're kind of the quick flip opportunity right now, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But no, I think your logic makes sense. In the long term, the Red Hood has a good following, and that Wagner cover is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a great book. I wish I wouldn't have sold all the ones I had. But no, yeah, I think we're good. What's the chat say?
Definitely some, you know, some Super Friends fans out there. It's interesting because, you know, I actually, you know, I always say this, like I wasn't a huge DC person. Literally my first introduction into
Super
Wonder
Friends,
Trends,
right?
or Wonder Trends or Super Friends is basically that Family Guy reference when Peter talks about, you know, having the Wonder Twins powers activate. That was my intro into the team. So I've since gone to know them a little bit. But here we see the chat. 1 here with Tominators, Jerry with the 1, Uncanny with the 1, Origin with the 1, Fred with the 1, Zach with the 1, Dennis with the 2, Jason with the 1, Alex with the 1, Serge with the 1, Noah with the 1, Brian with the 2, Actual Dragon with the 1, Spike with the 2, Vancouver with the 1, GC with the 1. So again, you know, most I'd say,
there we go.
You know, for the most part, people are definitely kind of, you know, feeling the picks out there. So, you know, definitely doing well overall.
Don't get comfortable, man.
I know, right?
We'll pull something out.
We'll see if we can make it a little more spicy, and it might get a little more spicy in this one right here because we got some great, in my opinion, Silver Age first appearances right here. And I know actually one of these books in your collection you recently came in contact with, or you recently acquired for yourself. So it'll be interesting to think about, you know, maybe did you fall in love with this book, or have you always loved this character? But Spec Collect Forget here, we got Fantastic Four number 52, first appearance of Black Panther. We got Tales of Suspense 57, first appearance of Hawkeye. And we got Tales to Astonish number 35, first Ant-Man, Henry Pym in costume, which in my opinion is the cooler Ant-Man book to own. But I know that that's not a, you know, a well agreed upon opinion. But Spec Collect Forget, Ozzy, how are you feeling with these 3 picks right here? Some Silver Age, I guess you call them first appearances.
Yeah. When I was going through the collection and I found the 52 in a, you know, weird place, and it wasn't with the other FF books, and it's such a recognizable cover. As soon as I pulled it out of the long box, I was like, wow. And I've never been one to really gravitate towards this book, but as soon as I had it in front of me, it was just, I don't know, something really kind of magical happened. It may sound stupid. So it is going to remind me of this experience. So I'm keeping that book for as long as I can. I'm going to get it graded. I'm going to treat it with the respect it has. So yes, you can put that ring on it.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a beautiful book. It's in person, it's stunning. The Tales of Suspense, all the mantles of the established characters are being handed over to the younger generation. So I don't have a lot of faith in that book. The Tales to Astonish, sort of the same thing, but I think that franchise, that whole Ant-Man thing, is going to have a lot more room to grow So you can see where I'm going. You can put the dollar bill.
No, okay. Spec on TTA 35 here. And I guess that only leaves us with the option of Burnin' Hawkeye. Tales of Suspense 57. Wow. Absolutely here. What do you think about this one? Would you have assisted Ozzy in, power bombing Tales of Suspense 57 through a table there?
Yeah, I mean, with this lineup, I definitely would have been right there with the lift. I think that's exactly what I would have done. I mean, Clint Barton had a hearing aid the last time we saw him in the MCU. The next time he shows up, is he going to have a walker? I mean, what are we really have to look forward to with Hawkeye in that regard? And I think Paul Rudd has the staying power, even if he's just like that goofy dad character for some of like the younger Avengers maybe that come along. I think that Ant-Man is going to stay more front of mind than the Clint Barton Hawkeye. And what can you say about Black Panther? He's ascended to another level since the movie came out with Boseman and stuff. It's just it's no longer just a comic like it was for so many years. It's now a cultural relic at this point.
Absolutely. And I would echo that. I mean, I famously on my channel have said that I think that FF52 is literally the most undervalued book in the market, simply due to the fact that I think this character is the biggest superhero first appearance that you can get at those prices, at least in terms of what he can be. But speaking of those prices, it is interesting because I try to put books all in the slides that are equal price range, generally speaking. So it's interesting to see how these things line up with each other. But the chat agrees with you generally here. I think Zach here has with 1, Actually Guard with 1, Jason with 1, Orange with 1, Uncanny with 1, Alex with 1, Noah with 1, Brian with 1, Serge with 2, but that was the only 2. So doing really well so far. Sorry, Serge. I mean, hopefully we can get this a little more controversial soon here. But moving on now to the next slide. I can't really do my preamble because I do know what this is. We had Moon Knight come out recently, and there was a 9.6 sale and a 9.8 sale that happened just this week. So pretty crazy. Now, the 9.8 sale wasn't as high as one of the books on the slide in terms of the 9.8 sale here. So we're going to say that when you're buying these books, these are in the low 4.0 range, right? We're not going to say it's 9.8 values here.
I don't think any of us are going to be buying that 9.8 Spotlight 5.
Absolutely. I know, right? So, with that said, we got 4 Bronze Age first appearances here. Maybe the future kind of characters that we're going to be getting in the MCU. First up, we got Marvel Spotlight number 5, first appearance of Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, a book that I recently acquired for myself. I was lucky enough to be able to get one. We got Tomb of Dracula number 10, first appearance of Blade. Of course, we got Blade already in the MCU. The cameo in Eternals probably going to show up maybe in the Hollywood special this year. And then Werewolf by Night 32, first appearance of Moon Knight. I don't know if you guys saw Moon Knight, what you thought of the first episode, but
awesome.
Hey, he's fully in it. So here we are. But Spec, Collect, Forget. Ozzy, how are you feeling on this one? I don't know if you have a preference in terms of like just a bias, but let us know what you're thinking as well for this one.
So one of the goals, as you said, for the collection has been to extract enough capital. I want to buy a Marvel Spotlight 5. Same thing, like a lower grade. I've wanted one of those for the longest time. It's been I adore that book. So right off the bat, you can put the ring on that one. We're gonna duke it out with the other 2 in just a second. Yeah,
it's interesting because he's the furthest away from.
I know. This is pure love for.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Getting emotional up in here.
I am getting very emotional. So with Blade and Moon Knight, man, I think that Blade is going to play a way more important role moving forward. Like I said, are they going to be naming teams? No, but are we going to see some sort of team up? It seems that way. And I think Blade is going to possibly play a fairly important role in that. I saw the Moon Knight episode. It was fantastic. I think it's going to be another gate crasher in terms of like opening the floodgates for all the horror stuff. But I think Blade is going to play a way more important role. Plus, he was the gate crasher to the MCU for movies, in my opinion. He was not Iron Man, but it was Blade. So
yeah, definitely could argue that for sure.
Yeah, so I'm gonna spec on that, and it pains me to say.
My goodness.
Burn the werewolf by night. Like, I do not want to do that. So if you cannot do that, then great. But
interesting.
That's the game. That's
Burning the game. Moon Knight.
Oh my god.
Current face of the MCU, the hottest premiere out there right now.
Spec is gone on that. The spec is gone on that. Spec was way.
That could be true.
Before, right?
Yeah. Well, chat. Let us know what you're thinking. One's if you agree with Ozzy here. Two's if you disagree. I know a lot of people said that it's basically can't go wrong with these, but I wonder if there's some passionate people that are going to be upset over burning Moon Knight. Now, Drew, I don't mean to speak for you, but I would think that you might be also willing to burn Moon Knight, knowing your tastes in the character. But what were you thinking on this one?
Sorry, I was distracted trying to find the cursing emoji because I felt like the chat needed that. No, we've had a lot of conversations about Werewolf by Night 32, Mickey, and I think that's the right choice. That book has had so much value baked into it for so long now that will it go up if the show's a success? Yeah, I think it'll maintain, but I think once the show wraps up, it's just going to have that natural
correction
decrease. Yeah, correction in value where it's going to come back down to reality a little bit. Because let's face it, most people who have this or who want this book already have it at this point.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the wise choice. And I also, I'm going to show my own bias. I have multiple TOD 10s and a really high grade Spotlight 5 sitting, in lockup with me because I'm actively waiting on those books to blow up more.
Right.
I think that's a good move. Definitely. Blade, I think is definitely going to be important. I think Moon Knight's got a heavy lift to do for some of these guys, and Blade to a certain level as well with his movie. But just like Thor had to establish that whole magical element and kind of space element within the MCU, Blade's got to lay down the foundation, and Moon Knight, of course, is kind of pre-lifting on some of that for the supernatural element of the MCU. So I think the Blade movie has the right character and for sure the right actor in the role, because my God, that guy's awesome. So I think there's still a lot of money to be made on Blade, even though, to Ozzy's point, he was the first Marvel movie star.
Absolutely. Well, quickly checking in with chat here. Let's just see what some of the polls were. Jason with the 1, Jerry with the 2, sorry, Ozzy, Uncanny with the 1, D-Boy with the 1, Brian with the 2, Zach with the 2, Origin with the 2, Alex with the 1, Nowhere with the 2, Fred with the 1, and Actual Dracula with the 2. So definitely maybe, again, this was a tough one because it's like you can't really go wrong. Feels like maybe there's definitely some Moon Knight fans in the chat. And it is interesting to your point, Drew, about both Blade and Moon Knight. I feel like Moon Knight might kind of it's kind of maybe like Thor, where it's like even with that first impression, it's not like everybody was like, oh, Thor is like Thor yet. It's probably going to take multiple iterations of Oscar Isaac coming back again and again and again, and eventually, like when they get it really right.
Right. Slowly dip your toe into the pool.
Yeah.
Before you get completely comfortable with it. Absolutely.
All right. Going on to the next round here, and this one is kind of interesting. I'm going to pull the curtain back and we'll talk about it right away. We got Spec Collect Forget. We got some kind of more modern-ish type of books. And it's interesting to see that these are all very, very hot, very expensive books, all priced around the same value range. But first up here, we got New Mutants 98, first appearance of Deadpool. Of course, Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool in the famous Deadpool franchise and going to be a part of the MCU. So we assume that we're going to get Deadpool 3 sometime in the future. We got Edge of the Spider-Verse #2. We're going to assume this is the first print. Of course, the first appearance of Spider-Gwen, who will be showing up in or we can assume is going to be showing up in Into the Spider-Verse 2 later on this year. And who knows, maybe what's her face is going to reprise the role with the Andrew Garfield live action movie, and she can become Spider-Gwen. The actress name escapes me. You guys can help me with that.
Emma Stone.
There you go.
Stone,
yes.
yeah.
And then the last one here, Nick's number 3, first appearance of X-23, Laura Kinney. Now, this is a book I feel like there are some passionate fans of this character, and maybe even that cover. So interesting to hear your thoughts on this one. I don't know if you have a personal feeling about any of these characters here you see in front of you, but chat, let us know what you're thinking for this one.
Drew, you're probably gonna hate me, but I'm a fan of Deadpool, and I have a copy, a great copy of New Mutants '98. But that being said, I think if we do get a live action iteration of Gwen Stacy, that book is just gonna go to the stratosphere. I think. Yeah. So I would love to have a copy of that one. I'm going to. Oh, and the Laura Kinney book. I've never seen one in the wild, actually. Raw. I've never seen one raw, which is
me either.
I've only seen them graded high like a 9.8. So, oh, hold on a second.
Okay. Yeah, I was unsure because let me. I got too excited, guys. I apologize.
Yeah, a little bit. But that being said, I also think that the New Mutants '98 hasn't really seen its day, and you probably will think I'm wrong. So I'm going to collect that one.
Okay, so collecting.
Yeah.
Deadpool.
I'm going to spec on Edge of the Spider-Verse because I think, like, if you can get into that book, I think it still has tons of room. And if we get a live action Gwen Stacy, then I would just like sell it at that point. Absolutely. And then I don't even know with next 3, I don't know. I don't even know what to make of that book, to be honest with you. I know it's a very passionate book with a lot of people, but I just don't connect to it. So
yeah, well, it got a little bit awkward for Nick's right there, and the one that was talked about the least, and that awkwardness went a little something like that. So sad.
Thank you for showing some Canadian love, Mike Myers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love that movie. I love that movie.
He's a legend. He's a legend. All right, quickly checking in the chat here. Drew, you let us know what you're thinking on this one, but I'm starting to see these ones come in. Do you feel like he deserves a 1 here?
I feel like he made a very passionate argument for his choices. I definitely agree with Edge of Spider-Verse. I still kick myself for literally had it in my hand and set it back on the shelf the day it came out.
Wow.
Because I was going to get it tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. New Mutants '98. If you like Deadpool, that's cool, man. You can marry that.
It's a Liefeld book.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I have owned several NYX3s over the years, and God, I wish I still had one because I can replace New Mutants '98 all day long, and I can go for a very long time. To your guys' earlier point, without finding a nice raw NYX3.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting because NYX3, Nick's 3, Laura Kinney, X-23. Personally, I've never been too big a fan of the character, but I know that there's a big passionate fan base out there.
You're just not emo enough, Mickey.
I guess I'm not. I don't like those emo covers. I just like my satirical characters like
there you go.
Deadpool. All right. Well, going on now to round number 7. No, excuse me, round number 8. We got what I love to talk about here. Villains. We got some big villain books. Some big villain books that always get me excited to talk about here. First up, we got Avengers number 8, first appearance of Kang the Conqueror, a book that feels like has low-key been forgotten about recently. Fantastic Four number 49, of course, that's the first full appearance of Galactus, first cover of Galactus, second appearance of Silver Surfer, first cover of Silver Surfer. And then we got X-Men number 12 here, first appearance of Juggernaut, but then you get that added bonus that's made it kind of hot recently, which is the origin of Professor X, who maybe, I guess, is showing up in Multiverse of Madness. We don't really know, do we? But Spec Collect Forget here. Ozzy, how are you feeling on this one? Some big villain Silver Age books here. I don't know if you've got a feeling on Kang one way or the other, but I know a lot of comic collectors actually kind of hate on Kang, or aren't as, he feels like the villain equivalent to Moon Knight for me with how what people think about it. But how are you feeling on this one? And chat, let us know as well.
This is a bit of a tough one. The Avengers 8 and FF49. I adore those books. Again, I'm getting very passionate. I'm probably one of the only comic collectors that actually really like the cover of Avengers 8. The colors are awesome. I really like that cover, and people always kind of laugh at me. But the Fantastic Four 49, Galactus is a ways away, like so far away. But eventually, hopefully, we'll get him. I'm going to marry that book for sure, because that is a true classic for me.
One of the best covers ever.
One of the best covers ever. I own one, very low grade. I will own that for the rest of my life. I adore that book. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. I'm a big fan of a big origin story collector. I like that. Just not a Juggernaut guy, so you can throw the flaming basketball on that, and Spec on good old Kang. He's going to be around for a while. He's going to be very important. So I did grab that book before everything blew up. I'm going to hold on to it. Am I going to keep it? I don't know, but I'm definitely keeping the FF49.
Specking on, okay, so specking on Avengers number 8, first appearance Kang Conqueror. You're going to marry Galactus, Fantastic Four 49, and Burnin' X-Men 12, first appearance of Juggernaut. Chat, let us know what you're thinking. And Drew, what was your mindset going on with this one here?
Oh, here we go.
I mean, we got the Jack Kirby triple play up in here, so it's hard to make decisions. But I agree. I actually, random side thought here. I had somebody in one of my comments sections the other day arguing that FF48 was the better cover than FF49. I thought I'd stepped into the Twilight Zone for a minute, but I digress. Now, I love X-Men 12. I absolutely love it, but it's not in the same bracket as these other two. Personally, I think the cover to Avengers 8 just is not one of Kirby's stronger ones.
No,
it's kind of weird, but I've been specking on that book for a long time too, and I mean, FF49's cover is just fantastic. So I'm down. I have no criticisms.
Absolutely. Well, Drew is in agreement. We saw the chat. Even though there were some twos, they were also in agreement. If it were up to me, I probably would have done the exact same thing, which makes me think that we're all kind of thinking that X-Men 12, the price is wrong, bitch.
You want a piece of me? I don't want a piece of you. I want the whole thing. Bitch.
Somebody pumped the low end on that one. I felt that in my ears. That was great.
There's definitely some humble. Yeah, another classic. Well, let's just do it because we have to. For those watching the VOD, you guys can know and see here that we got Actual Dracula with the 1, Zach with the 1, Jason with the 1, Orange with the 1, Alex with the 1, Ryan with the 1, D-Boy with the 1, Jay the Collector with the 1, Surf with the 2, Peter with the 1, Brian with the 1, Kenny with the 2, Nowhere with the 1, Vancouver Comic Junkie with the 1, but says, I hate your choice, Ozzy, but I still give you 1 Juggernaut power. So, again, that's the thing with Spec Collect Forget. There's no real bad books in these batches.
I know.
One book has to get burned. It's just the way that the game works.
I know Avengers 8 has a little point of contention with you as well.
It does have a little point. I have a little salt in my veins with it.
Just a little.
But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh wow!
I'm not saying anything. I know nothing.
Stay tuned.
I know nothing.
Okay, cool, nice.
All right. Well, going on now to round number 9, the round before we get to the final round. So we got to have that, cool down match, right? We had our card. We had a epic, upper card right then, some big time villains. So we got to cool it down, with some lightweights. And in this one, we're going to try something different here. We're going to go with some 80s nostalgia.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
80s nostalgia books, non-Marvel related. We got, I don't know how much of a cartoon fan you are, but all of these books have gotten pretty hot, especially the last one there because of, movie announcements. But first up, we got Thundercats #1, first appearance of the Thundercats. We got Transformers #1, first appearance of the Transformers. And we got Voltron #1, another hot book this very week because of the announcement that Voltron is going to be getting a movie soon out there in the space. So, Ozzy, I don't know how you feel about these types of books, cartoon books or TV show books or, this genre or 80s nostalgia. But what are you thinking about this one here?
Well, I definitely have nostalgia for these books. I just picked up Transformers 1 from, well, you've met him, my buddy Morris from Phoenix. He was kind enough to sell me one, so I was happy to grab that. But I grew up with all of these. I grew up with Thundercats, cartoon, Transformers, Voltron. I adore all these books, to be honest with you. But Voltron, I think, would probably be a good spec, because if they've just announced that and you grab it, and as soon as you see some sort of trailer or something, I would just probably get rid of it, because I would want Transformers to stay in my life. And unfortunately, Thundercats, I'm going to make a quick decision, is going to have to go.
Got it. So putting the ring on Transformers and specking on Voltron, thinking that movie could get hotter maybe sooner than the Thundercats, which we are ultimately burning. Well, chat, you know what to do with this one. One's in the chat if you agree, two's in the chat if you disagree. Drew, you look like you're still thinking on this one. Maybe there's nothing. Yeah, maybe there's nothing specific. We did see a hoe in the chat, so
yeah.
How do we feel?
Maybe I let my guard down.
Well, I think he picked the one he loved the most as a kid. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love some Transformers myself, but Thundercats were my jam. Love me some Thundercats, but no, Voltron's definitely the book to go after right now. The other two have already kind of had their moment in the sun for what information we have about anything. And let's be honest, every time they try and rehash one of these things, it always crashes and burns. So, if we do wind up burning Thundercats, that would make me happy, because then I could actually buy one at a price that doesn't want to make me cry.
Yeah. Well, let's check in with the chat here. There's definitely a mix of ones and twos, but Jerry with the 1 here, Brian with the 2, Uncanny with the 1, Serge with the 2, Jay with the 2, Nowhere with the 1, Thundercats, no. Origin with the 1, Jay the Collector with the 0.5.
No, okay.
Spike with the 1, Collect 2, Collect 3, Burn. Vancouver with the I stand by this. If they made a Thundercats movie, it's basically the movie Cats with swords and lasers. Ouch, 1 all day long. Fred with the 1, Ryan with the 1, and Actual Dracula with the 1. So kind of a 60-40 there. I mean, for me, I personally have the most fandom towards Voltron. I actually really loved Voltron growing up, and that song just,
it completely missed me. Like,
hits me.
I don't remember Voltron at all.
So I think Voltron, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to know the lore of Thundercats again. To me, I feel like they're gonna have to do a lot to make it work, in my opinion, to give it some logic. Voltron, I feel like, actually is pretty sound in terms of its world building and the premise. So I feel I can see it being successful.
Thundercats was great because they changed the setting and moved it to space, and you got Silverhawks, and they moved it to the water, and you got Tiger Sharks. So it's clearly excellent storytelling.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, Ozzy, you've made it through 9 hot rounds so far, but you are not out of the woods yet. We're coming up with the final round, the grand finale. And of course, in these rounds, we have to go with some grails. Spec, collect, forget. We got some big, Grails, 2 Silver Age, 1 Bronze Age. Incidentally, all of them selling around the same prices, at least in terms of the lows and the mids that we like to buy up. But here we have Daredevil #1, first appearance of Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Charlie Cox now in the MCU officially. Probably going to see him again in Echo. Maybe we'll see him in She-Hulk. You know, who knows? But he'll probably have his own series at some point. Incredible Hulk 181. Most people's Grails, most people's favorite X-Men. First full appearance of Wolverine. Probably only a matter of time, although maybe it's going to be a bit of time. I mean, I feel like, are we really going to see Wolverine in the next 2 years? Probably not. But Strange Tales 110, first appearance of Doctor Strange. Coming up, Multiverse of Madness, a book that has gotten pretty hot. So Spec, Collect, Forget, Ozzy, how are you feeling with this one? And chat, you guys know what to do.
It's the same thing. If we had Doctor Strange on the cover of 110, I think it would be a completely different book. I think that be a huge difference in price. I'm not a Daredevil fan. I've never been a Daredevil fan, and the chat can flame me for that and hate me for that. So this is going to really help me in making this choice. I will always want a 181 in my life. I'm going to, at some point, try and get one. Wolverine is far, far away, so that's not even a spec book. That's more a collect book. So I think for sure we can throw the ring on that one.
All right, put in the ring on Wolverine.
I am a Doctor Strange fan, but I think that Daredevil has the spec value for sure, as opposed to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has been around for a while. I don't think there's any spec in that book, but I think there possibly, if there is spec to be had in a Daredevil 1, sure. But yeah. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to burn Strange Tales 110.
Ooh, burning Strange Tales 110 and
if the stream ends suddenly, we know what happens.
Daredevil #1. Ooh, chat, you know what to do. One's in the chat if you agree here. Two's in the chat if you disagree.
Sorry, guys.
Obviously, there's no wrong answers here. You know, nobody has to throw out the pitchforks because you mentioned that Daredevil is a whatever character. But Drew, how do you feel on this one here? Would you have done the same with that Strange Tales book?
I would have burned Daredevil 1 because, well, it's personal. That book hates me, and I'm hating it back. So I have missed out on 4 of them in the last, 15 months. So screw you, Daredevil 1. That's where I'm at on that one. But no, it's a great book. It's come up a lot, and that's because it had the furthest to come up because it's trash. Seriously, Daredevil was so bad it almost got canceled before they pulled Wally Wood in to save it. And you know, he limped it along for a little bit before he got replaced, and it's just that book was never good until Frank Miller got on it. And Strange Tales 110, Phage has already said that Doctor Strange is kind of the new cornerstone of the MCU.
Yeah.
So I feel like that book's going to be around for a while. And I'm not going to lie, it had a ways to come up too. The first one I ever bought, I paid $150 for, which is just sad because that was not that long ago. But it definitely suffers from the no cover thing. But I think we've had previous conversations where hell, it's a year or something before Doctor Strange actually even partially winds up on a cover after this. So, and Hulk 181, what can you say? It's the belle of every ball. Absolutely. Everybody wants one, whether they want to admit it or not. And it is the first appearance of Wolverine.
I was just going to say, you know, everybody wants the second appearance of Wolverine, right, in their life.
Flames in the chat right now. But let's check in with that chat and see what everyone said here. We got Brian with the 1, Lad with the 1, Serge with the 2, Fred with the 1, Daredevil all day, Nowhere with the 1, Jay with the 1, Jerry with the 1, I came with the 1, Ryan with the 2, Daredevil all day, Vancouver, Bold Move 1, Jason with the 1. I think Strange Tales would be the most money, but I also agree. Jada Collector with the 1, Origin with the 1, Peter with the 1. Okay. So a lot of 1s there, and that's really interesting. To me. I mean,
wow.
I've never been a fan of Daredevil either. I got to be honest. I've never really been a big Daredevil guy, and even though that Strange Tales cover sucks, I would so much rather have that one than Daredevil 1. But that's just me. But to your guys' point, I feel like even though I'm not even thinking about a Hulk at 181, it's like obviously it's like on my list. You know, it's on everybody's list. So hard to deny that one.
Right.
Well, Ozzy, you made it through 10 rounds. You ran the gauntlet. You survived. I think for the most part, a lot of people agreed with your pick. So I just want to say, you know, congratulations for making it through Spec Collect Forget, and really appreciate you
for sure.
coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. It was fun.